What's up everyone, it's Jas and welcome to episode 2 of the quarantine cooking and episode 2 of the lentil series. So what we're going to do today is very simple, super simple. We're doing just a traditional basic dal, and that is comprised of only a few things. So if we come down here and have a look here, what we've got is yellow and red lentils. So the red lentils we used in the previous video, and the yellow lentils is something called moong dal, M-O-O-N-G dal. And what I've done is I've just washed this and I have drained it off until the water's become a bit clear. And what I've done is put 1 cup of red lentils, 1 cup of the yellow lentils, the moong dal, and I've put 2.5 cups of water. Now, moving on to our veggies that we're gonna need. Over here, I've got some thinly sliced onion. I've got half an onion here, and I've got thinly sliced 3 large cloves of garlic. I'm using quite a bit of garlic just because I really like garlic, but use as much as you like. In terms of our spices and what we're going to be using to flavor this thing. So really simple. We've got 1 teaspoon of coriander powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin powder, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, 2 Indian bay leaves. Very important to use Indian bay leaves. I've got 1 dried chili, and I've got 1 teaspoon, well, 1.5 teaspoons of salt. The next thing that we're going to be using is this, called panch. And panch is Indian 5 spices. So you know how you have Chinese 5 spices? Well, this is Indian 5 spices. We've got mustard seeds, we've got fennel seeds, we've got coriander seeds, and we've got nigella seeds. One last thing I forgot, oil. So you need oil. We're using olive oil. If you want to make it super rich, you can add butter as well, but I'll show you what we're going to use with this. The first things first is we're just going to boil this. So if you want to come over with me, we're going to go over to the stove and start boiling this. That is on boil now. Well, we put it on the heat, and I put it on about a medium-low heat for now. I'm also going to add just a little bit of salt to this, probably about a teaspoon and a half. We're going to let that boil. We're going to stir it every 5 to 10 minutes, and we want it to kind of go down and break down and become all soft and great and that sort of dal texture. And then once we've done that, we are going to fry up our spices, add it in, and that's it, it's done. One other thing that I learned from my mum, because I used to boil this down for hours and hours, I couldn't figure out why it wouldn't go soft, and I promise you, it's crazy, but just putting a lid on helps it all break down. Why? I have no idea, but it works. So, put the lid on, and yeah, every 5 to 10 minutes, give it a quick stir so it doesn't burn or stick to the bottom, and then we're done. Right, so my lentils are boiling away nicely, and once it comes to like a roaring boil, what I like to do is I'm moving it over to the smaller hob, and I'm bringing the heat right down to its lowest, and we're just going to let that slowly cook away and become soft and beautiful. And yeah, so just a heads up, because if you don't, it's going to boil over and spill out everywhere. The dal is boiling away. It's now all starting to split apart and become gorgeous, but it's starting to get a little bit dry. Just gonna add a tiny bit of water, and you're gonna keep adding a tiny bit of water at a time. You want this to boil for about an hour. If you want another trick and a way to speed this up, you can actually use a hand blender and just hand blend it down. You don't want to blend it down into a complete paste, you still want it to be kind of like have bits in there and stuff, but you can blend this down. So if you see here, the dal has become this lovely thick consistency. Now, depending on how you like the dal, you can keep it more watery, you can make it thicker, you can do whatever you want. Just boil it down to the consistency that you like. What I'm gonna do now is we're gonna make the spiced oil, which is gonna go in there. This is the most vital part of this whole thing, because the dal right now, if you were to taste it, it'll be super bland. It won't taste of anything, it'll be horrible actually. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create this spiced oil, and you know, we don't want to waste anything. So if you remember yesterday, we made the lentil fritters, the pakoras. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using the leftover oil from that to fry the spices, because we fried dal in it, so the flavour won't be too off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just the onion, and only the onion for now. And the reason why I'm going to add the onion is because garlic tends to burn very quickly. It cooks very quickly. And I'm going to fry this very slowly, fry it for about 5 minutes, because I want it to get beautifully soft and golden. And then I'm gonna bring up the heat because I want it to sort of crisp up a little bit. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to our spice mix here and we're gonna grab just 2 of our bay leaves here. And we're gonna add that into the onion. Okay, so the onions are now starting to get a very beautiful sort of goldenish color a little bit, but we don't want to go too golden just yet because now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna crank up the heat almost to full. So we're gonna get it nice and hot. We're gonna come over with our spices. We're gonna add the spices in and then we're gonna add the garlic in. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just toasting up all of the spices and I'm trying to get the garlic nice and crispy. Now we want to be very careful not to burn the garlic because we are on a high heat now. So this, I'm going to say no more than 45 seconds to a minute of frying and we should be good to go. And this right now is smelling absolutely gorgeous. Like the aromas that are coming off are insane, especially when you fry. When you start cooking these spices, that's when it brings out all of the flavor. A lot of mistakes that people make is they just chuck the powder straight in to the dal and that just doesn't bring up flavors. It's very, very different. Now we're on to a very critical stage. So this 5 spice here adds a huge amount of flavor. Now, the thing is, if you overcook this, it becomes bitter. And we don't want it to become bitter, we just want it to release its flavors. And what I found is 10 seconds of frying on high heat, let it come off, 10 seconds quickly stirring it, and then we're gonna pour the whole thing straight into the dal that's cooking. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick in about 2 pinches of the 5 spice. I'm going to do it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm coming off. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's now going to go into here. We're now going to stir this in. This looks like a gorgeous, gorgeous dal. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to taste for seasoning. Definitely needs a little bit more salt. There we go. That's an important thing to do. You have to make sure that you taste your food as you're going along. And there you have it. A gorgeous, simple, delicious dal that any of you can make. The list of ingredients on what you need to make this will be down in the description. Again, all of these ingredients you can get yourself from any Asian supermarket, and most leading supermarkets actually sell most of this stuff. The thing that you might find a bit of difficulty is probably the Indian 5 spice, but again, like I said before, the Indian shops will have them. But yeah, if you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'm going to be coming out with a few more cooking videos. We're going to stick again with the lentils. Let's see what else we can make with lentils, and yeah, hope you all enjoy. Peace. Okay, there you have it. It's done. It's time to dig in. So I'm going to eat this with some paratha, and let's see how it is. Oh my god, there's so much flavor, it's crazy. Like, you can really taste that garlic and the onion, a little bit of heat from the chili. All the spices are coming through. Very, very, very wholesome, and actually quite good for you, to be honest. It's lentils. We used olive oil for frying up the stuff, and olive oil is good for you. There's nothing really in here that's bad for you, I would say. I'm gonna go now, and Serena's looking very hungry, and I know she wants to dig in. Do you want some squish?
Mine.
Huh?
Mine.
Yours?
Paratha.
Paratha. She loves paratha. Paratha is her favorite thing. So hope you'll enjoy the video. Please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll be back soon. Time to eat.
Yes, please.
Serena's enjoying it. But I want food.
Sure.
You want some dal? Huh? Do you want some dal? You want some dal? You want the dal? I know, it's so good, isn't it? I know.